As within, so without, as above, so below. This timeless principle reminds us that our inner state reflects outwardly, and our outer environment in turn shapes our energy. Every item in your home, every corner, holds energy. Whether it's peaceful or chaotic, inviting or heavy, your space speaks back to you every single day. And that's why something as simple and ancient as salt can become a tool not just for flavor, but for focus, clarity, and transformation. For thousands of years, salt has symbolized preservation, cleansing, and protection, not just in the physical sense, but energetically. In sacred traditions, salt is used to purify spaces, absorb negativity, and create invisible boundaries. It's not magic, it's not superstition, it's intentional living, placing meaning behind action, and harnessing the energy of what already exists in nature. When you put salt in certain places in your home, you're doing more than following tradition. You're taking responsibility for your space. You're saying, I want peace here. I want clarity here. I want to create a space that nurtures my mind, protects my spirit, and keeps negativity out. The first place to consider placing salt is at your main entrance. Just a small dish of sea salt or Himalayan salt near the front door, hidden or visible, serves as a silent guardian. It acts as a filter, helping absorb the invisible residue that people bring with them. You never know what energy someone carries in. Salt at the door catches it before it seeps into your sanctuary. The second place is the corners of your rooms. Energy collects in corners like dust, especially in homes filled with stress, worry, or lingering grief. Putting a small pinch of salt in each corner lets the space breathe again. It's like giving the room a fresh start, a moment to reset. Leave the salt for 24 to 48 hours, then sweep it away. What you're sweeping away is more than granules. It's the stagnant energy that no longer serves you. The third place is the bathroom. Water is a powerful carrier of energy. It can cleanse or carry away the things we unconsciously release. A little salt near the drain or in a bowl near the tub reminds the body and spirit to let go, to release the tension, to cleanse from the inside out. Salt reinforces the intention of purification, helping you leave behind what you don't need emotionally and energetically. Fourth, under the bed or under furniture where energy tends to hide. We often forget these places, but the energy doesn't. It lingers, especially in places where we rest, like the bed. If your sleep feels restless or your dreams heavy, try putting a small bowl of salt under the bed. It doesn't take up space, but it holds the quiet job of absorbing what you've left behind while you sleep. Rest becomes deeper, the mind calmer, the room lighter. And fifth, your workspace, or where you often feel overwhelmed. Energy of stress and overthinking builds like a cloud. A small salt dish by your computer or in the corner of your workspace can help absorb the weight of mental clutter. It's not about salt doing all the work. It's about using a symbol, a tool to anchor you, to bring awareness, to remind you that peace is a choice and clarity is something you can cultivate even in chaos. These actions are not about superstition. They are about intention. The salt is just a mirror, a representation of your decision to protect your peace, cleanse your space, and elevate your life. You are the energy in your home. You set the tone. And when you treat your space with respect, when you infuse it with conscious care, you'll start to feel the shift. You'll notice how the air feels lighter, how your thoughts feel clearer, how people walk into your space and feel calm without knowing why. So yes, put salt in these 5 places, not just because it's ancient practice, but because it's practical wisdom. Because a clean home is not just about surfaces, but about energy. And when the energy is clean, everything else in life becomes more clear, more aligned, more powerful. You don't need expensive tools or loud rituals, just a little salt, a little intention, and the understanding that everything is energy. Your home is a temple, treat it like one, and watch how your inner world transforms right along with it. Salt is more than seasoning. It's a symbol of energy, protection, and purification used across cultures. For centuries, salt has carried a power far greater than its use in cooking. It has been revered by ancient civilizations, treasured like gold, and exchanged as a form of currency. But its true value goes even deeper than trade or taste. Salt holds a frequency, a natural grounding vibration that resonates with purity and resilience. From the dusty roads of ancient Rome to sacred temples in India, from indigenous rituals in the Americas to quiet folk traditions in remote villages, salt has always been more than a mineral. It has been a spiritual anchor. It's no coincidence that salt appears in religious texts, rituals, and healing practices around the world. It has been sprinkled to purify sacred grounds, used in protective circles to ward off negative energies, and dissolved in baths to cleanse the body and spirit. It's about energy, about awareness, about honoring the unseen forces that shape our lives and environments. In Japan, sumo wrestlers throw salt before matches not to season the earth but to purify the ring. In ancient Jewish tradition, salt is used to seal covenants, to preserve sacred promises. In European folklore, spilling salt was considered bad luck, but tossing a pinch over your shoulder could neutralize that energy. Why? Because the people of the past understood something we often forget, that the physical world mirrors the spiritual world. That salt, in its simplicity, holds power to shift energy in a space, in a mind, in a life. There's something about salt, raw, untouched, taken from the earth, that reminds us of what's real. It doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't try to impress. Yet it preserves, protects, cleanses, and grounds. And that is the essence of spiritual strength. Quiet, steady, deeply rooted. Salt teaches us that true power doesn't shout. It simply is. It sits quietly in corners, in thresholds, in bowls beneath the bed, doing the work no one sees, absorbing what doesn't belong, holding space for what does. In modern homes, we tend to overlook the subtle energy of our surroundings. We clean the floors, wipe the windows, organize the closets, but forget to clear the heaviness that lingers in the air. Arguments that echo, sadness that sticks, tension that hides in the corners. These are real energies, and salt has long been used to absorb and neutralize them. When you place salt with intention, you're not practicing a ritual for ritual's sake. You're honoring an ancient truth, that your environment responds to your consciousness, that your home reflects your state of being. Even in science, salt carries properties of preservation and purification. It pulls moisture. It neutralizes toxins. It keeps things fresh. So why wouldn't it do the same energetically? Salt is not magic. It's a medium, a conductor, a way to interact with the invisible, a way to claim ownership over your space and say, this is a place of peace. This is a place of renewal. This is where my energy is protected. So yes, put salt in your home, not because the world says to, but because it aligns with something ancient in you that already knows, something primal, something wise. Remember, the tools we use are never about the objects themselves, but about the energy we carry when we use them. Salt, in its unassuming grains, carries the silent message of strength, clarity, and sacred intention. When you understand this, salt becomes more than a kitchen item. It becomes a symbol of your own power to cleanse, protect, and align your life, one space, one thought, one corner at a time. The strategic placement of salt in your home can help clear negativity and promote peace. This isn't about superstition. It's about setting an energetic boundary. You see, every space carries memory. The walls absorb the emotions, the conversations, the energy of everyone who enters. And just like dust gathers in corners, so does stagnant energy. That tension after an argument, that uneasiness when you walk into a room that just feels off, that's energy asking to be acknowledged, shifted, and cleared, and salt is one of the most powerful, accessible tools we have to do just that. When you place salt in specific areas of your home, you're not just placing a substance, you're making a statement. You're saying, only peace belongs here. You're declaring to the unseen that you are the gatekeeper of your space. Think of doorways and windows as energetic portals. These are the entry points where outside energies come in, people's moods, stress, intentions, even unseen spiritual weight. Placing a small bowl or even a pinch of salt at these openings is like placing a filter. It's a soft shield, quietly absorbing what doesn't belong, stopping that heaviness before it spreads. Under the bed is another sacred space to consider. It's where we rest, dream, and surrender. Sleep is one of the most vulnerable states of our day. The mind lets go and the spirit travels. Any energetic disturbance beneath us can subtly affect the quality of our rest, our dreams, and even it's like tucking in your energy with intention, allowing your body and spirit to fully recharge in peace. Another powerful spot is the corners of rooms. Energy tends to collect in corners, much like air and dust, because these are places we often overlook. You can place small bowls or little pouches of salt there to soak up stagnation. Over time, you'll notice a shift in how the room feels. Lighter, cleaner, more expansive. And it's not just psychological, it's energetic. You're creating a rhythm of maintenance, not just of your furniture and floor, but of your home's invisible atmosphere. Think about placing salt near electronics or workspaces. These areas are often buzzing with mental activity, digital distractions, and energetic static. Salt acts like a sponge, pulling out the noise and grounding the chaos. It helps you stay focused, calm, present. It holds a vibration of earth, stable, neutral, balanced. The more technology dominates our lives, the more we need practices that reconnect us to what is grounded and real. Salt, simple as it is, helps bridge that gap. And finally, don't underestimate the impact of placing salt near your front door, the very threshold of your life. This is where everything and everyone passes through. It's where you greet the world and where the world meets you. A small bowl of salt near the entrance is a quiet guardian. It doesn't block people, it doesn't judge, it just filters. It says only peace, only kindness, only intention may enter here. Over time, you may begin to feel it, the subtle protection, the softened atmosphere, the unexplainable ease. The point is not to become obsessive, but to become intentional. Salt placement is not about rituals or rules. It's about creating alignment. It's about becoming aware of what you invite into your space and what you allow to linger. It's about recognizing that your home is not just where you live. It's a reflection of your energy, your peace, your power. You clean the windows so light can come in. You open the windows to let air flow. Think of salt as another layer of care, a way to let peace settle in and negativity quietly dissolve. But the most beautiful thing about using salt this way is its simplicity. It's humble. It's accessible. It doesn't require belief in anything outside of yourself. All it requires is the willingness to treat your space as sacred, to act as if your energy matters because it does, to treat your home like a sanctuary because it is. When you honor your environment, you honor yourself. And when you shift the energy in your space, you shift the energy in your life. One grain at a time, one corner at a time, one breath at a time. The real power lies not in superstition, but in intention and conscious living. You see, the moment you begin to live with awareness, when you start choosing your thoughts, your words, your actions, and even how you arrange the space around you. So when we talk about things like putting salt in corners or at the doorway, we're not talking about casting spells or invoking mystical forces in the air. What we're really doing is creating a conversation with our environment. We're saying, this space reflects my values. This space holds my peace. This space supports the energy I want to live in. Because most people move through life on autopilot, reacting instead of responding, decorating a home without ever truly claiming it energetically. But conscious living means you choose what surrounds you, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Salt then becomes a symbol, a reminder, a placeholder for your intention. When you pour a little salt at your front door, you're not worshiping the salt, you're anchoring the message. Only what serves me may enter. When you tuck it under your bed, you're not depending on it to do all the work. You're reminding yourself, I deserve deep rest. When you place it in your corners or near your electronics, you're not waiting for miracles. You're inviting in stillness, clarity, and a return to center. The world is noisy. Every day we are bombarded by information, distractions, and emotional clutter. So many people feel overwhelmed, scattered, drained, not because they are weak, but because they are constantly absorbing energy without ever releasing or resetting it. Conscious living is the act of reclaiming that power, of saying, I am no longer just a sponge for the world's noise. I choose what I absorb. I choose what I hold. I choose what I release. That's what salt teaches us, that clarity doesn't require complexity, that peace doesn't have to be purchased in a seminar or found in a faraway temple. Sometimes it begins with a grain of salt, placed with intention. It's in the small moments, the quiet decision to pause before reacting, to light a candle and breathe, to rearrange a room so it feels lighter, to journal your thoughts so they don't take over your mind. That's not superstition, that's inner leadership, that's self-respect made visible. And as you begin to live like this, with that level of mindfulness, something beautiful happens. You realize you don't need to chase peace anymore. You are peace. You don't need to search for power and rituals. You are the ritual. Your awareness is the ceremony. Your presence is the prayer. You start to see that everything becomes sacred when you bring sacred energy to it. Washing dishes, lighting incense, sweeping the floor, placing salt. It all becomes part of a rhythm to impress anyone, not to gain spiritual points, but simply to live rooted and awake. That's where the transformation is. Not in grand gestures, not in superstition, but in your daily relationship with life, in the way you hold your thoughts, in the way you protect your peace, in the way you clean your space, not just for appearances, but because you know your energy deserves a clear stage to breathe. So yes, use salt if it helps you focus your intention, place it with love, with presence, but remember, the true shift doesn't come from what you place outside of you, it comes from the decision you make inside of you to be mindful, to be intentional, to be aware of the energy you carry and the environment you build. In the end, salt is just a tool. You are the alchemist. You are the one who chooses what enters and what stays. You are the one who transforms a house into a sanctuary. You are the one who chooses to live not by superstition, but by conscious creation. And that is where your real power begins.